And our top focus this hour, developments that are taking place in Pakistan, where a train hijacking in Pakistan's Bolan district has triggered a tense standoff. Rebels in Balochistan province attacked a Peshawar-bound train, taking over 400 passengers hostage, including women and children. Armed men intercepted it in a tunnel near the mountainous terrain of Gudalar in Piru Kundri. Currently, 155 hostages have been freed and at least 16 rebels have been killed. The BLA says it has allowed women and children and Baloch travellers to disembark, leaving only active duty members of the Pakistani military, police, anti-terrorism forces and the inter-service intelligence as hostages. In a statement, the Balochistan Liberation Army claimed responsibility for the hostage crisis, and they had taken hostages from the train, including security forces. More than 30 military personnel were killed in the attack. Rescue teams and security forces have reached the scene, and the operation is underway to track down the militants. Ambulances from Quetta continue to arrive for the injured who are coming from the hijacked Jafar Express train in Mushkaf, Kachi. While security operations continue, local hospitals have been placed on high alert to provide urgent medical care to the injured. Pakistan Railways have set up an emergency desk at the Peshawar and Quetta railway stations as frantic relatives and friends try to get some information about their loved ones on the train. Aditya on the telecast with me. Aditya, what is the update that we have at this point of time?
At this point of time, the recently what we saw that the
You'll have
Balochistan
to
Liberation
unmute
Army
yourself,
had.
please.
It's obvious to see, the Balochistan Liberation Army has
Okay,
some
we
kind
are
of.
not getting Aditya's connection at this point of time. We're unable to get his audio. We will get that fixed, but in the meantime, joining us at this point of time is Colonel Ajay Singh, a renowned author and an expert on military history. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the broadcast. We really do want to understand from you, considering the fact that there have been multiple attacks that have been orchestrated by the BLA since 2023. What do you make of the current situation on the ground, and what exactly does it showcase?
Pleasure coming onto your show. Thank you very much. It is such a pleasure coming onto your show, and especially on an event like this, which, believe me, is not an isolated event. It is a culmination of something which has been festering not just in 23, but since 1947. The Baloch freedom movement, I will not call it a liberation, it's a freedom movement, all right, began actually in 1947 when Kalat was promised independence. And it was then Jinnah reneged upon it, the army launched an operation. And as they say, Balochistan was free for 227 days. That insurgency raging, that freedom struggle raging has been going on, having periods of ups and downs. 48 it went on. It surfaced in 58, 59, it surfaced in 73. But the turning point of this freedom struggle actually began in 2006 when Pervez Musharraf assassinated Nawab Akbar Bukti, a very respected Baloch leader. And that is when the freedom struggle intensified. In Balochistan, as you know, the kind of atrocities that have been going on are amazing. It has been attacked. Quetta has been strafed by Pakistani Mirages and gunships. There are an approximate 5,500 Baloch activists, many of them innocent women and children, who have simply disappeared off the face of earth. Balochistan, which is Pakistan's richest province, it has been exploited repeatedly. Its gas, minerals, oil has been siphoned off to rich Punjab, and they have got nothing to show for it. Even the so-called famous port of Gwadar, which was in Balochistan, which was supposed to bring so much economic benefits, they say the only thing the Balochis got from the CPEC was the establishment of puncture shops and tea shops. Everything else was siphoned away. So that sense of resentment amongst the Balochis have been going on for a very long time. That sense of exploitation. It has resurfaced around 2023 when the Balochistan Liberation Organization, along with a series of parties, got together and they launched a series of attacks which actually coincided with the 18th death anniversary of Nawab Akbar Bukti. They burnt Quetta station down, they hijacked buses, and what was different in this was the fact that Punjabis and Chinese were specifically targeted. In August, in an attack on buses, Punjabi laborers were pulled out, shot, and the buses were allowed to move. Chinese workers have been targeted and killed because of the tremendous resentment and the sense of exploitation which the Baluchis feel against the ruling elite and the Chinese who are seen to be aiding them. So, what will happen now is just the chickens coming home to roost. The Balochistan, the freedom fighters have intensified their activities. This is their largest attack so far. But it is by no means the end. This is an attack which has placed the Baloch freedom struggle, and I call it a freedom struggle, on the world center stage. Now it has come into the limelight. How it is going to pan out over the next 3 or 4 days is going to determine the future of this freedom struggle. Now there is one more thing which is very, very interesting, is what why this is intensified is because at the moment Pakistan is in the midst of what can be called a perfect storm. Politically it is in shamozels, economically it is in the doldrums, there is social unrest, and up in the north, adjoining Balochistan in Waziristan, the TTP have intensified their activities. You know, it is no coincidence that the attack by the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan and the attacks in Balochistan very often come close to each other. So obviously their activities are coordinated. And now that the Baloch freedom struggle has erupted completely, I think the very future of Pakistan itself is a little bit more shaky than it usually is.